All right, next team. Let's kick it on down to Fayetteville. We're saying Pittman met with the media here. They also had a scrimmage. I believe it was over the weekend, but first time Pittman has met with the media since that time. They've had another practice in the books. But one guy that, I cannot wait to see in a Razorback uniform is Drew Sanders, the former five-star recruit from Alabama, transferred in this offseason. And with Grant Morgan and Hayden Henry off to the NFL, going to need someone to step up there next to Bumper Pool, who decided to come back for another season in Fayetteville. And it certainly sounds like Drew Sanders is fitting that bill. If you think about the secondary that Arkansas is going to have next season, if Drew Sanders comes in here and fills in and solidifies one of those linebacker roles as expected, as he's doing this spring, I mean, the back end of that defense is potentially going to be elite for the Arkansas Razorbacks. So let's kick it over here to Sam Pittman on the impact he's seeing from Drew Sanders in his first camp as an Arkansas Razorback.
Coach, I'm curious what your impressions have been of Drew Sanders and Bumper playing side by side, and what in particular has caught your eye about Drew this spring.
Well, he's instinctive. He can really run. I think he ran under 11 flat 100 meter at, whatever he is. He's big. But he's instinctive. He can run. He kind of fits us. He's tough. Really smart. I really like the kid. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a really, really good player in this league. And I think Blue Paul's done a nice job too. He got a concussion, but I really like Drew, and it's because of his athletic ability, and he wants to get to the ball. It reminds me a little bit of Bumper. I like those two guys playing side by side.
So high compliments there from Pittman on Drew Sanders. But the real question that I've got, that all Razorback fans have with this defense, is the defensive line. After losing all three starters to the NFL, who's going to step up there? And of course, it was a couple weeks ago, but if you missed it, go back and check out our conversation with John Neighbors, who really harped on the fact that the previous defensive line coach, I mean, my goodness, he didn't even get a 4-star defensive lineman to even visit Arkansas. Not less, of course, they didn't sign any, but you can't sign any if you can't get them to even visit campus and see what they could potentially be getting if they commit to the Arkansas Razorbacks. But now they've got Deke Adams in there, SEC veteran. He's coached some of the best defensive linemen in Mississippi State history, like Jeffrey Simmons. So, there's promise here in Deke Adams. Sounds like Sam Pittman likes what he has in his new defensive line coach. And two players that he said is emerging on that defensive line, which Arkansas desperately, desperately needs players to emerge there. Isaiah Nichols and Terrion Carter. If Arkansas can get something out of these guys, and I got faith in Barry Odom and company to get these guys ready to play, because they seemingly do it every year. Just they find these players that no one is expecting much from, and they get incredible performance out of them. Let's kick it over to Sam Pittman one more time on the defensive line, what he's seeing from, in particular, Nichols and Carter stepping up their games.
You're going to do more four-man down.
Yeah, that's a little bit that way on the D-line, because we don't have a tremendous amount of numbers. We got spoiled last year because we had 130 kids on the team in spring. And so we're a little down, but we have looked at a little bit more four down today. And I liked it. We went inside run, and I thought, the D-line pretty much dominated us down there in that period. And that's not to say I'm not worried about our O-line. I don't want that to be a headline, because we're going to be fine up there. We got, guys that's proven they can play in this league. But I do think the D-line, for the first day, I was talking to Barry on the practice field, for the first day of those guys playing an assortment of fronts, whether it be 4, over, under, 3-man line. I thought they did a really good job with it. And I think the rise of Torian Carter, has allowed us to get in that 4-man front faster. I think him and Nichols right now are playing the best of those two of the entire defensive line.
And last little note here on the Razorbacks, just wanted to make this a little housekeeping note here. A couple of transfers this week out of the program. Lucas Coley, who I believe was battling for third-string quarterback there, he's off to the portal, as is defensive lineman Mateo Soli, who he started a number of games for the Arkansas Razorbacks, but not a big-time player. So you hate to lose depth on that defensive line, but this may be an indication that the Arkansas Razorbacks are going to be searching for some more help on that defensive line. I know they got Landon Jackson from LSU. He's going to need to step up in a big, big way for the Arkansas Razorbacks this season. He's another one to keep your eye on.